it's Maria. So today I want to talk a little bit about oral motor and why it's important. This video is specifically for some of the parents whose kids I work with, because I tend to send kids home with whistles and straws and blow toys, and sometimes they might be, have a little food all over their face. I just want to talk to you about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So oral motor is literally the movements of the muscles in our face. So it is our lips, our cheeks, our tongue, our jaw, everything that moves when we have to eat and when we have to speak. So oral motor in general is going to be not just our ability to move the muscles of our mouth for talking to one another, but it's also moving all the muscles in our mouth for safely eating foods. We want to make sure that if we're doing any kind of feeding with kids, that we're doing it in a safe way, so nobody's choking and gagging and having anything aspirating and going into their lungs. So first area of oral motor that I usually will work on is going to be lips. So we want our kids to have a nice lip seal. We want them to be able to close their lips and keep them closed. If you've got that nice tight close, we're not going to be able to open it, so we want those nice and closed. A lot of kids I see lately, not the ones I'm working with, but ones that I see outside, have what we call an open mouth posture. So they're here. Their mouth is kind of always open and their tongue is sitting right by their front teeth. That's not where we're supposed to be. Our tongue is supposed to be up at the roof of our mouth, and our lips are supposed to be closed. Unless we're having a lot of allergies, unless our tonsils are constantly swollen and then our tongue is pushing forward, and because literally we can't breathe out of our nose, so we have to breathe out of our mouth. Our mouth should be closed. Those lips should be nice and tightly sealed. So ways to work on that, which are fun and festive. I like whistles, I like straws, I like blow toys, because we want to teach our kids different ways to keep our mouth closed. And we want that to be able to stay closed while we activate something with sound. So a whistle is kind of a hard thing to activate. I'll be honest with you. It's not always easy for kids to be able to close their mouth around something, not have a gap, and still have the breath support to blow it out. So this might take a minute. You may have to actually help them, like physically put your hands here so that they can close that gap so that they can activate something like a whistle. These guys are fun. They take a minute. Sometimes just go ahead and roll out the paper so it's not so hard for them. What we don't want is them using their teeth. I don't want this. And then we want just lips. So what you can do is when they put it in their mouth, you wiggle, wiggle, wiggle it until you notice that it's just their lips. We're working on their lip strength. We're working on their ability to pucker those lips and keep it in that position. Really, really good. We don't want food kind of spilling out of their mouth when they're eating. This is one of my favorite things in the universe. It is a kazoo. Why is this? Because it actually has to be used in a different way than a whistle or a blow toy. All kids put this in their mouth and go, and nothing happens. And now they get angry at me. They're like, I blew. And I'm like, I know, but you're not going to blow. You are going to hum. So now they have to do a very different movement, which is tiny, but it's still a movement that is important for them. They have to not only keep this between their lips, but they've got to coordinate while they're doing it. Because it's only the hum that's going to activate the kazoo, which makes it different than a whistle. Silly, but fun. All right, so this is the simplest thing in the universe. This is just a straw. Now, I can use a straw to just drink normally from a cup, right? Or I can use a straw to blow. So we can put the straw and some cotton balls. We can put the straw and some tissues and blow it across the room. This is a really skinny straw. I got it for Valentine's Day gifts for the kids. But there are different size straws. So the big fat straws that you get at McDonald's, they're huge, really. The really big straws that you get when you drink boba, just bring some home whenever you go somewhere. Just take some. You don't have to go buy a ton. But there's going to be a difference between the straws that they drink and the teeny tiny little coffee stirrer that you also get when you go out. Have them use different straws. You can do this at home too, and I think it's hilarious. Just get a little bucket or a Tupperware container and put a drop of dish soap in it and let them blow. So they're used to having a straw for drinking, so they're used to this motion, right? Which is using not only our cheeks, but our lips. It's a great motion, but let them do the opposite. Now, let them blow it out. It's a lot easier for kids to put a straw in their mouth and blow it into a bucket than it is for them to hold a bubble wand and kind of blow their air right into the circle of that wand. It's why, I don't know if you've ever blown bubbles with kids, it's why they actually want to just put it in their mouth. It's a lot of coordination for them. But that's my next thing is bubbles. Bubbles are great. They are cheap. They are easy. We can get them everywhere. Bubbles are fantastic for kids. And yes, they're going to end up in their mouth a good amount of the time. Don't worry, they're not that toxic. Sorry, I don't know if they're toxic. I don't think they are. You can always use dish soap if you want. You can put a couple of drops in there and then use that. But bubbles, again, we're activating our lips, we're activating our cheeks, we're activating coordination. So all of that is coordination of our brain to the muscles of our mouth. I like to use food. I like to use objects. I like to keep it fun. Because for a lot of our kids that are struggling with oral motor, they've already been swimming upstream. They've already been fighting with the fact that they can't do some of the very simple things that other kids can do. Maybe they can't pronounce their words in a certain way. And it's sad and it's annoying because it doesn't mean that they don't know. They're actually very aware and very conscious of this. So let's try to do things that are fun and exciting for them so that we don't frustrate them any more than we already have to. So I worked on lips, kind of incorporating cheeks into that at the same time. Now we're going to work on tongue, and tongue is fun and silly and exciting. Usually I'll give kids mirrors in therapy. If you have mirrors at home, if you've just put them in front of the bathroom mirror, let them play. Let them make silly faces. We are going to open our mouth as big as possible. Ah! We're going to smile, pucker, say cheese, say oh, say ooh. And then we're going to stick our tongues out. Bah. Simple as that. Let them stick their tongues out. Let them stick their tongues out and in and out and in. And then we're going to go up. Like we're going to touch our nose with our tongue. We're going to go down. We're going to touch our chin with our tongue. And we're going to wiggle it from side to side. Don't worry if this is hard for them. Your tongue is a big, big muscle with a series of tiny muscles. So for us to be able to move that tip of our tongue is difficult. So that's okay if it takes them a little while to figure out how to go up and how to go down and how to go around. I use food because I like food. I love these little Nutella things. They come with a dipping stick. And so I'll take one of the pretzels, I'll dip it in Nutella, and I will put it here, 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 and here. So that you have to actively move your tongue to all these different spaces to lick it off. And kids love it because, well, you know, it's Nutella. I had a little guy the other day just yelling at me, I want more chocolate! And I'm like, okay, hold on, I'll give you more chocolate. I was so excited, so excited. You can use peanut butter cups, you can use marshmallow fluff, you can use anything that's sticky, but please, please, if you're a therapist, make sure that there are no allergies before you start putting things on kids. You know, even if it's not a nut-based item, check everything to make sure that there are no allergies ahead of time. This is for tongue. This is exciting. This can be fun. With that same pretzel stick, well, I usually just bring a whole bag of pretzels with me, but with the pretzel sticks, with a popsicle stick, with anything that you have, we can work on tongue strength. So this was just movement, right? This was just coordination, being able to move it from side to side. Now I want you to actually have to push against me. So you're gonna stick your tongue out and push that pretzel against their tongue. Bring it back, push it to the side and bring it back and bring it back. We wanna work on strength by doing resistance. And it's fun and it's silly. And once they did it 2-3 times, they get to eat the pretzel because it's yummy. And we should always be able to eat the pretzel. So next thing I like to do is jaw strengthening, right? silly as it sounds, a lot of kids right now are weak in their jaw strength because there's not a lot of hard foods that we require kids to eat, especially our little kids. So for the most part, I'm finding that kids' diets are comprised right now of mac and cheese, sandwiches, nuggets, maybe pizza. They'll eat vegetables, but they're usually cooked vegetables. So for the most part, there's nothing that I really had to work very hard to do. Not a lot of kids are eating a steak. Not a lot of kids are eating a raw carrot. Something that, you put that in your mouth and you have to really, really chew on it. So you can use different items for this. Honestly, like I said, I'm a food person. Beef jerky is perfectly fine. They don't have to swallow it. They just need to chew it and keep it fun. With some of our older kids, and I don't like to do it in therapy, but I'll tell their parents, if they want to do it, gum. You could do some sugar-free gum and let them chew it over here and chew it over there and bring it to the other side and bring it to this side and then give it back to me because I don't want you to swallow it. I don't have one on me. We have little brushes called Nook brushes that kids can just chew on. You can chew it 5 times over here, 5 times over there. Any kind of teething toys that you had from when they were little are great. But again, just give them a little bit of carrot, a little bit of sliced apple. The apple is not very hard to chew, but it's crunchy, so they can hear it. They chewed it 2-3 times and they swallowed it. I would like something that you have to chew 20 times and swallow it, but that's okay. At least it gives them the practice and it gives them that feedback when they are chewing it. You can do it with the pretzel, but I don't want them chewing it here. I want them chewing it back here, the way like Bugs Bunny chews a carrot, like way on the side of their mouth. So they go crunch, 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 crunch. It's gonna go very fast, especially with a pretzel. We want to work on strengthening all the muscles of our mouth. Parents, for those of you that are working on feeding with your kids, non-food items are fine. Go and get all the teething rings from the baby section of the store. Get the whistles, the blow toys, the straws. Get all the things that they can put in their mouth that they are not expected to eat. We're just trying to desensitize the areas so that hopefully they'll let us put some food in there eventually. We'll start dipping things in juice. Just dip it in just so that it has flavor and they're okay with that. Little by little, we'll introduce more food items, but it's going to take a while to get there. And that's okay. It's okay if it takes a little while. We will get there eventually, I promise. But for right now, we're just going to desensitize. And while I'm talking about that, sorry, I'm rambling today. While I'm talking about desensitization, we can use things on the outside of the mouth. So washcloth, just kind of put it around their cheeks, their lips. We're just waking up muscles. Electric toothbrush, which again, I didn't bring for the video. We don't have to just put the electric toothbrush in their mouth, especially if they're aversive and they don't like that sensation. It's freaking them out. Start on their hand. Go over to their cheek. Boop, boop, boop. Let it up. Put it up. Put it away. Da-da-da-da-da. Right on their lips. Eventually, once they start getting a little bit better with it, we can put it in their mouth. Some kids love it. They think it's hilarious. So that's fine. It just makes a giant mess in their mouth, and that's fine too. But it's always good for stimulation and for waking up the muscles of your face. So parents, like always, please let me know what you think. Send me any comments, any questions. I am happy to make videos on it or respond to you directly. But today was just about oral motor, exercises for our face and mouth, and any like early feeding skills for our kids that have feeding issues. All right. Thanks again. Have a great one. Like always, subscribe, share, like, and tell me what you think. Bye.